Alright, let's dive into something that's got me really intrigued lately. Imagine this: a high-stakes interrogation, a fallen dictator, and a CIA officer with no field experience but an obsession with understanding the man behind the myth. That's the core of TNT's upcoming series, High-Value Target: The Hunt for Saddam. But here's the thing, this isn't just another war drama. It's a deep dive into the psyche of power, the consequences of invasion, and the questions we are still grappling with today. So, let's break it down. First off, the hook here is Joel Kinnaman playing John Nixon, the CIA officer who was the first to interrogate Saddam Hussein after his capture in 2003. Now, what makes this really interesting is the dynamic between these two characters. Nixon, despite having zero field training, insists he's the guy for the job because, as he puts it, nobody knows this guy better than me. That line alone is fascinating. It's not just about skill or experience, it's about obsession, about understanding a figure who's been demonized by the world. Personally, I think this speaks to a bigger theme: the human desire to comprehend the incomprehensible. Why do we need to get inside the minds of dictators? What does it reveal about us? Then there's Saddam Hussein, played by Waleed Zuaiter, and his chilling prediction: "I see a war that will never end." That line sends shivers down my spine. It's not just a dramatic moment, it's a stark reminder of the long-term consequences of the Iraq War. If you take a step back and think about it, this series isn't just rehashing history, it's forcing us to confront the ripple effects of decisions made decades ago. The war may have ended, but its impact is still felt globally. What this really suggests is that the story of Saddam's capture isn't just about one man, it's about the legacy of intervention and the questions we still haven't answered. Now, let's talk about the trailer. The tension between Nixon and Hussein is palpable. It's not just a battle of wills, it's a clash of ideologies, of worldviews. One thing that immediately stands out is how the series seems to humanize both characters. Nixon isn't portrayed as a hero, and Hussein isn't just a villain. This complexity is what makes it compelling. What many people don't realize is that these kinds of nuanced portrayals can challenge our own biases. It's easy to label someone as good or evil, but the reality is always messier. And that's where the series seems to be heading, into that gray area where the truth isn't always comfortable. From my perspective, the timing of this series is also worth noting. We're releasing this over 2 decades after the Iraq War, and yet the themes feel eerily relevant. The questions about intervention, the cost of war, the search for truth, these aren't just historical footnotes. They're still shaping global politics today. Personally, I think this series has the potential to spark important conversations, not just about the past, but about where we are headed as a global community. But here's the deeper question: can a series like this do justice to such a complex and controversial topic? In my opinion, it's not about perfection, it's about provocation. If High-Value Target gets us talking, questioning, and reflecting, then it's done its job. A detail I find fascinating is that the series is based on John Nixon's memoir, Debriefing the President. That adds a layer of authenticity, but it also raises questions about perspective. Memoirs are personal, after all, they're one person's truth. So, how much of this is Nixon's interpretation, and how much is the broader reality? As we head into the premiere on September 13th, I'm left with more questions than answers. Will the series avoid the trap of glorifying war? Will it give voice to the Iraqi perspective, or will it focus solely on the American narrative? These are the things I'll be watching for. But one thing's for sure, this isn't just a show, it's a mirror. It forces us to look at our own role in history, our own complicity, and our own capacity for understanding the other. So, will I be watching? Absolutely. Not just for the drama, but for the dialogue it's bound to ignite. And I'm curious, what about you? Let me know in the comments. Because, if you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just a story about the past, It's a story about us.